Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with your hosts, Mike Sautter and Jacob Padilla.
Hey everyone, welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame. Mike Sautter, Jacob Padilla here. Last basketball podcast of the year because we're going to break down what happened in the boys state basketball tournament. And really, let's just start. We're going to start with the D2 championship. We're going to talk championship games, and then we'll go down the list and then kind of look at what
let's go through the
before
day.
that. Yeah. But we're going to start just with the championships. So,
well, I will say the only surprise in D2 is our heavy favorite went down in the semifinals.
yeah, St. Mary's. Well, they went down to the other favorite.
Correct. Correct. That is true. But with St. Mary's reigning champs, obviously, all season long we thought like, hey, they're the clear number one team.
They
had the most talent. Yeah. In the semifinal, they lost to Archangels Catholic, 57-52. What I talk about after watching the Heartland Hoops Classic, like they shot 9 of 33 from three in that game. It's like they're essentially going to beat themselves if they were going to lose.
Shoot that bad.
Just based on shot selection and shots they often make not going down. And credit to Archangels Catholic for kind of forcing them into that. But great win to set up a final between the one seed and Elgin Public Pope John and Archangels.
The one seed, the one seed in the tournament because of wildcard points.
Yeah.
Archangels obviously has, Coach Kessel's been there forever, won multiple state championships in basketball, football. He's the athletic director, all that.
His third title, I believe, for basketball.
Been in state tournaments a ton and has a great program and tradition there. Flyers forever. So that's it's neat to know him. Now, the one thing, the defenders forced 23 Elgin Public Pope John turnovers and had 18 steals. That's a lot.
Yeah, let's just say it's even beyond those final numbers.
The defensive number, were insane.
But it was 19-6 at halftime.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They made 2 shots in the first half, two shots from the field.
Wow.
They went 16 minutes almost without making a shot. So that, just Archangels, they're
1-3-1.
Elgin Public, they just had no clue how to attack that zone. It's just turnover, missed shot, couldn't finish around the basket when they did the rare opportunities they did have inside. So it was just, again, the defender's name, they lived up to that in this instance to win this title because Elgin Public Pope John, it's a really good team. Jarek Erickson has had a great season, and they just could not figure out how to attack it. And our Archangels, they weren't offensively, they weren't great themselves either, but their defense held them long enough. And then third quarter, they kind of got loose a little bit. They were, the largest lead was 27 in the third quarter before Max Hen, they finally ended that drought from the field. He scored inside and then scored 10 points in the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. So the final score doesn't even indicate quite the direction that this game was going. So credit to Archangels. Brendan Johannes had a great tournament for them, 15 in the final. I named him my most outstanding player on the all-tournament team, just double figures kind of throughout the tournament.
Tucker's
led the way. Yeah, and it was really balanced. Finding a second guy on there, it could have been any of 3 different guys just because this wasn't a star-driven team. It was a total team effort throughout the tournament, and that's what the guys talked about as well, and what Coach Kessler talked about. So it was just really impressive for Archangels to run through that and win in the way that they did. I also named Jarek Erickson. Gage Hedstrom had a great tournament for St. Mary's. Good to see him play well. They finished. They took the third place game. And then Luke Gunther for Guardian Angels Central Catholic, the other semifinalist team there, had a strong tournament as well. So those are the 5 I named to the all-tournament team for us.
And then moving on, C1 was next. Pretty close game. Obviously, 2 teams that know each other very well. Proximity is a thing.
And this definitely was not the matchup that we expected because we had an eventful first couple rounds of the tournament. In the first round, we needed overtime to determine the final semifinalists there. Excuse me, sorry. Ryan Gunther, sophomore for Auburn, had a great season, stepped up. The monster game in the quarterfinals, the game winner with about 11 seconds to go. Just went behind his back in traffic, then went back to the right hand and finished. A really impressive move there. So that was probably the highlight of the first round. They won that 41-40 in overtime. And then also in the first round, Sawyer Smith, near quadruple double. He was 1 assist away from a quadruple double.
Quarters.
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
I've never seen a quadruple.
No. So 1 assist shy of the Ogallala, their show, they put on the show that we're used to seeing from them in the first round. And then the semifinals happened. And oh boy, DC West, shout out to them. And their defensive game plan throughout this tournament, fantastic job by that coaching staff and the team executing it, because shocker of the season and the tournament, DC West 43-39 over Ogallala. And Ogallala just could not get into a flow. It was basically Sawyer go do something, and they didn't have a whole lot else outside of him. And he got in foul trouble at the end of the first half as well when they were already struggling. So just a lot of things. Credit to DC West. A lot of things didn't go as Ogallala's way, and that's a lot because of the DC West defense. They trailed by 14 late in the third quarter. At that point, they had 23 points. Smith had 10 of them. And then he scored 9 in the fourth quarter, trying to drag them back. They got it to within 3 and had like chances there at the end, and just couldn't get good looks or convert on the looks they did get down the stretch. Lane Smith, who had a really good tournament for DC West, he hit a big shot and then blocked a 3 from Ogallala that could have made the game really interesting there at the end. So a couple of big plays at the end. Down goes Ogallala for the second year in a row. Their undefeated season ends at the state tournament. This time, Sawyer Smith was healthy, and DC West just went up and beat them.
Yeah. I mean, that DC West was a good team. Like that, they were good. They had played.
But I was going to say, you saw them. They played. They went to DC West during the regular season for a tournament. You saw them against Beatrice. But
yeah. The Ogallala DC West played in the DC West Holiday Tournament final, and it wasn't really close.
They held them to 57 points, which is their second lowest of the season, but they still won handily. It was 57-28, I think, was the first meeting.
So bouncing back, that's a big gap, right?
Yeah.
Like, so credit to DC West and Coach Darling. Like, great job. Like, no one expected them to win. I actually sent him a text after on Friday, and I was like, "Hey, great job!"
Yeah,
like I was like, huge win. No one expected. Nobody outside of your program expected you to win this game. Yeah. And he texted me back, like, "Appreciate the honesty and thank you," and all that. We're like, I was very real with him, and it's true. I mean, no one did. So
they held DC West held Ogallala at 31.8% shooting for the entire game. Smith had 19 of that 39. More importantly, 0 assists.
Yeah,
they were
couldn't
not
make shots.
Guys weren't making shots around him, and they were really swarming him, making life difficult for him. And Ogallala just couldn't get anybody else to step up. Eden Kane, second leading scorer with 9 points. DeCastro, I think, had 7, and that was really it.
We're spending time on this because yes, there was a lot of upsets. This was the biggest one.
Without yes.
It was upset of the year, not just a tournament. It was all classes, all games.
No question. Yeah,
and that's no disrespect to DC West. It's looking at the previous matchup and everything that Ogallala accomplished and the way they had just played over at the Devaney Center. Yeah. But yeah, credit to Chip Daling leading that team. He was so emotional throughout this tournament. You could see how much it meant to them, how proud he was of his kids.
Yeah, that first game, I didn't know if DC West was going to be able to get ready at 9 a.m. at PBA, because they were all so emotional coming off, especially Coach. And then for them to go in and be able to find a way to not only get out early, but then to hold on against Ogallala and a team that just scores in bunches, that was uber impressive just from front to back.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So,
and then moved on to the finals because Ashland-Greenwood took care of business. So 2 seed made it through as we expected. Good game against Auburn, but Ashland-Greenwood pulled it out. So that set up a DC West Ashland-Greenwood final. And the The final 42-39, Ashland-Greenwood, it was not smooth sailing. They had to play from behind. DC West, again, played really well to start the game on both ends, held Ashland-Greenwood to 1 bucket in the first quarter, led 11-4. They led 25-16 in the third quarter. Biggest lead of the game, and again, just stymied Ashland-Greenwood offensively. And then they rip off 11 straight to take the lead. And then it was back and forth throughout the fourth. But the Blue Jays were able to pull it out. Derek Town just had 14 to lead the way. And again, another low-scoring game. Credit to the DC West defense and their game plan. They knew tendencies. They were really packing things in, made life difficult for the Blue Jays. But Ashland-Greenwood got it done and won their fourth title in 5 years.
Yeah. It's pretty tremendous, 4 in 5 years. Yeah. Coach Mo, they do a great job, man. Great job.
And Coach Mo's talked about just kind of
and this group, like winning one with this kind of core group they've had. Yeah, is is a special kind of core group here.
And he talked about just how each of these title teams built off the previous one, and watching that team and seeing what they accomplished. Some of these guys were, Tonjas was on varsity, didn't play a ton as a freshman, but he was on that team when they won the second one. So he's got 3 titles during his 4-year career for Ashland-Greenwood. And obviously, Kale Jacobson got that first one started. And then these guys, and then you saw Dane Jacobson and Cal Kissinger, Brooks Kissinger, rather. Yeah. And those guys kind of will lead the team title. And now it's Tonjas and Cooper Westerhold. Are the seniors with this group, with Coach Mo's son Landon there as starting point guard. So just kind of the run that they've been on is just incredible. And it is a testament to that coaching staff, the culture in Ashland, and they've had some really good players come through that have really bought into that.
Yeah, winning program for sure, 100%. Okay, next up, Class A. Now, we said all year, any combination. Yeah, any combination of these teams.
6 or so.
6, 7, 8, 9. And we even said all year too, hey, the top 12 could beat each other on any given night.
That being said, was Papio South ever quite on that list of teams that we thought could?
Not until late.
Yeah,
later in the season when they kind of figured it out.
They were 8-5 at one point to start the year.
They figured it out. And when they figured it out was after Metros, right? Yeah. I think they got some confidence with their schedule. It was not a whole brand new group, but it was a pretty brand new group. So the run they had is very impressive to make it to the final. And obviously Coach Heiser retiring from Papio South as the head coach and teacher and all that stuff, and going out in the state finals is pretty cool, especially for a group, honestly, and they had that moniker, no one believed in us, whatever. And it's kind of true. Yeah. It's true. I don't mind when people throw that back at people like me or whoever, because if it's true, it's true. Yeah. A lot of people didn't believe in them. So it's great. But
before we get into the game itself, let's run through how we got there, because there was a lot happened in Class A as we expected.
Westside should have lost.
They should have lost. They were down 18 in the third quarter in the first round. It was
350 and change. They were down 18 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
and came back. They just kept coming.
Yeah, just onslaught to start the fourth quarter. And survived in that one. And then at the bottom of the bracket, you had Papio South knocking off Creighton Prep 57-48, and that was just team effort, good defensive game plan. You had basically the entire game. There was one guy scoring in the first half for Prep, one guy scoring in the other, and they did not let anybody else get loose.
Nobody else. They needed a third. So anybody to get close to even double figures,
and the Titans just didn't let anybody do that. So those were the noteworthy results in the first round, and then that set up the semifinals where, first Lincoln Southwest 66-63 over Westside, who is a team that knocked them out of the state tournament last year in dominating fashion.
Some size there, that,
and then gave them their first
mismatches.
And then gave them their first loss this season. We saw that, again, the kind of just contrast of styles of these two that were in that first game, the rebounding edge, because of that size you talked about, just was overwhelming, and Southwest wasn't quite able to offset that. But this round, 19-9 fourth quarter Southwest to win it. And Dakari Wilson, who had a fantastic state tournament, had 24 in the game, hit 6 threes, scored 8 in the fourth quarter, kind of helped lead that in conjunction with the Twins doing what they do. And talked about the rebounding. So the difference here, you had the size of Westside and the rebounding versus the quickness, athleticism, and ball pressure of the Silverhawks. Which of those was going to win out?
Right.
In the first meeting, it was the rebounding. They won. They out-rebounded by like 30 plus and killed them on the offensive glass. This time, final numbers, 20-6 in second chance points for Westside, 17-0 in points off turnovers for Southwest.
Yeah.
It's a 3-point difference and a 3-point win.
Yeah.
Did just enough to offset. And Westside had a couple of chances at the end and weren't able to take advantage. Back-to-back turnovers there to end the game. The second, Micaiah Sanders sneaking in there, stealing the ball to dribble out the clock. So that, incredible job by
that
Lincoln
steal
Southwest.
was fantastic.
Yeah. It just timed it, knew what was coming, and then
He literally
like a blur shot
just,
through there.
I'm going to take so you're down, you're up 3. It's like, who cares if you somehow miss and foul him, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's no big deal. That's a fantastic play.
Yeah,
like,
and it's what he does. I think he had 5 steals in the game.
That's just like a hidden little thing in that game. Is just like, that's what makes him a great player.
Yep. And in the other semifinal, you had also a 3-point game.
Right.
Papio South knocking off Bellevue West 64-61 in duel of junior point guards, two of the best guards in that class in the state.
Bryce
Johnson Jr. had 30 points. He was the only one scoring, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Like, for a long stretch, he had just put Bellevue West on his back. He had 28 through 3 quarters. Levi Webb for Papio South finished with 20 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. He had 25 to 3 quarters. So the first 3 quarters were just them back and forth. And then the fourth quarter is kind of possession by possession, more team focused. But credit to the Titans for getting it done. Made some huge plays down the stretch. There was a chaotic sequence of turnovers back and forth at the end there. And then the Titans were able to hold on and set up that final between Papillion-La Vista South and Lincoln Southwest. So we thought Lincoln South was certainly on that list of potential championship winners.
Yeah.
Then you had the Hudson Mesger injury, and you're like, that's a starter for a team. Takes away some shooting and floor spacing to allow the Twins to do what they do. It takes away a body out of the rotation for a team that didn't go very deep, and now you're having to win 3 games in 4 days down in state to win it. So you kind of. Do they still have that enough there to get it done? And sure enough, they did, because they took down Papio South, who wanted 2 6 seeds to make the final. Like you said, Coach Heezer's last run, 57-53 was the final. Fantastic. Again, another just back and forth.
Yes, they lost Metzger, but Dakari Wilson stepped up in a major way
throughout the whole tournament.
This tournament, he was on fire.
Got a note on him here at the end. But to start the game, though, Papio South, they looked like a team of destiny and came out first 4 possessions, 3, and 1, 3. 12-3 to start the game, just out the gates. Timeout Southwest to regroup, and because the place was going nuts at that point. And then credit to Southwest for kind of stemming the tide there, settling down, rallying to cut it to 1 at halftime. And then they took the lead in the third quarter and then held on throughout the fourth. But it was, Uzziah Sanders, 20 in the championship game to lead the way. Had a dunk at the end, kind of a punctuation off the feed from his brother, kind of breaking through the press there before Papio South could give a foul. I think 8 seconds or so to seal it there. So just fantastic team performance. Wilson had 14, Micaiah had 11. And they held Papio South in check in the second half. You had Connor Falkenberg was fantastic, 19 points in his last game, and he averaged
He averaged
2.4 a game as a junior last year and only played in 17 games.
It's incredible.
He was not even a full rotation player for them a year ago, and to have the season that he did, averaging like 16 points a game on the efficiency with which he did it. Credit to him. And then obviously Levi Webb going from the second guy on that team behind Bryson Ball to the unquestioned
the guy.
Second leading scorer in the Metro, averaged nearly 20 a game as a junior, having to really elevate and create so much of his own this year, whereas last year he was able to play off Bryson, and that made things a little bit easier for him. So finished with 14-5-3 in the final. But Southwest in the end, they got it done. And two stats, I guess multiple stats here, but two things to cover here that kind of made the difference or why Southwest won the first title for an LPS school since 2003. It's a long time.
Yeah.
47-11 in forced turnovers throughout the term. These are tournament stats.
Amazing.
58-9 edge in points off those turnovers, and 56-5 in fast break points.
Yeah.
This run by Southwest, this was exactly how this team needed to play. This is what made this team special, and they did it better than they have the entire season. To only turn the ball over 11 times in three games in the state tournament, especially with the tempo that they play at, how fast they like to go, how recklessly at times they like to push it, to remain in control throughout that game. They had 5, 3, and 3 turnovers in their 3 games. That's just insane while forcing on the other. So you don't even have to rebound when you're just taking the ball away before the other team can get a shot up. And then you don't really have to worry about executing the half court if you're just taking it the other way and scoring before the defense can get back. So those numbers are just startling, the difference in those. And that's the fact, I don't know how teams could overcome that much of a deficit in those areas. So that's what made this team special. And then mentioned Dakari Wilson broke the record for most threes in a state tournament run in Class A. It was 13 by Jalen Bradley from Norfolk back in 2010. And he hit 2 threes in the first 4 minutes. He had 12 in the first 2 games. They hit 2 in the first 4 minutes to break that title, or to break that record, and then just hit 2 more after that. Funny thing is, Falkenberg actually tied the old record. He finished with 13. He hit a 3 at the buzzer. That was his 13th of the term. He had hit 5 of them in the championship game.
That's fun.
But obviously, he's now tied for second with Bradley, because Wilson went 16 of 35 from 3 in the tournament. Took 11, 12, and 12 threes in the 3 games. So he right there made up for the loss of Metzger by himself, and with his spacing. And he's you have teams are zoning Southwest because of how hard it is to stay in front of the Twins and all that. And he's just launching from 25 feet.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah. So all class tournament, all class team. I gave Dakari the most outstanding player, but obviously Uzziah Sanders there along with him. Levi Webb, Connor Falkenberg, and then Bryce Johnson Jr. to round it out. Kaya would be the 6th man if we went to 6. I just don't want to. I make fun of conferences for
doing that. Yeah, we're not doing that.
But yeah, just phenomenal run for Southwest, and congrats to them.
Okay, C2 Bergan was the unquestioned favorite all season long in C2.
Yeah.
And it ended that way.
yeah. And credit to Norfolk Catholic.
Yes.
Bergan threatened to kind of pull away from they got off to a slow start.
Credit to Norfolk Catholic for getting there.
Yeah, that too. Knocking off UTAN in a really tight one in semifinals. As the 5 seed to advance all the way to the final. And they got off to a good start. It took a while for Bergan to kind of figure out that they've got the zone they play with Leighton Burback, 6'8", offensive lineman going to Northwestern on the back line in the middle of that zone. And it took Bergan a while to figure it out. And then in the second quarter, things kind of clicked. They put up 21 in there. And then they stretched the lead out in the third quarter. Norfolk Catholic rallied. They cut it down to 5. And then Cale Sheets, who is their 3-point bomber, 70% of his shot attempts this year are from 3.
That's crazy.
You had Baker driving the lane, drew 2, dropped it off to Sheets in the short quarter, instead of dribbling out to the 3-point line, turned around, rose up, and shot the little 10-footer, knocked it down to push the lead back to 7, and then Norfolk Catholic didn't score again after that. So that was kind of the dagger there to stem the tide, to end the momentum, to end the comeback, and to send his team to the championship for the second straight year.
And pretty funny, too, at the post-game press conference, Cale talked about Baker and him were saying that they had never seen each other take that shot from Cale's perspective. And Cale told Gavin right in the press conference, I've seen you take that shot so many times. I know the steps. I know how to do it.
Gavin said he didn't think he'd ever pass a Cale on that spot. And Coach Molnaric said he'd never seen Cale take that shot. And, like Austin said, he's like, well, I learned it from watching you take so many, because Gavin Baker,
he's a stud.
Monster, back-to-back 30-10 plus double-doubles to end the state tournament.
And they needed that in the Freeman game especially, because the Falcons gave them everything that they needed to even get to the championship game, more than what Freeman had shown throughout most of the season. And truthfully, even in the first-round game that Freeman played, it was a masterclass of coaching by Jim McLaughlin to get Freeman into that spot.
And they finished third place as well. They won the third place team, so great run for the Flyers.
But Bergan Catholic, it was incredible to watch them perform, and for Gavin to take over the way he did in the third quarter of that Freeman game and then carry it over for the next 6 quarters. He's done it all season. He's phenomenal, but that team rally that they had in the third to push past Freeman, get past them in the fourth quarter, and then to continue Gavin's scoring through 4 quarters against Norfolk Catholic size, which notably they probably were the biggest team in C2 to be able to match up with what Baker could do. But he's just such a good all-around scorer that he was just a threat no matter where he was.
26 a game on nearly 60% shooting and 10.3 rebounds a game in the tournament. Pretty darn good there. Elevating who's already averaging like 21 and change and 8 and change during the regular season. So elevate his game even more. And Coach Menard talked about, like, we've seen all kinds of double, triple, all kinds of junk defenses thrown against him. Like, we're not going to let teams do that in the state tournament. We're going to give him the ball, and he's just going to shoot it. They tell him to shoot it wherever he caught it. Just turn and face up, get it up on the rim as quickly as you can. And he did that. He scored from all over the place. I seen him play summer ball a couple years ago, to the state tournament last year, to this year out in Grand Island and the state tournament, and his development has been phenomenal. Like, he is such a well-rounded scorer. He can do it inside. He can hit mid-range. He can step out and knock down threes, hitting free throws. Like, he's really rounded out his game now, and he'll get a chance to play in college. He's going to UNO for engineering, because that is the most important thing to him. Like, the school, he wanted to study that, and UNO offers that opportunity. And I also sent some highlight film out, like, hey, what do you think? And the coach was like, all right, let's talk. And so it looks like he's going to have a chance to walk on. At UNO, they still do. They didn't. UNO famously did not opt into the house settlement, so they still kind of operating under the previous rules with 13 scholarships and
they are
walk-on
going
spots.
Forward, though.
Yeah, but they've got the space for him to still walk on. Like that's still an opportunity in some places, and so he'll get to do that. And I think he's going to be a heck of a player, make them better in practice for sure, and then we'll see what happens beyond that.
And the sky's the limit for him, too, because you said it perfectly, that from his junior year state tournament when they were the 8 seed and upset Freeman in the 1, and then they took the title last year to where he was now, if you would have had 2 different jersey numbers on him from junior to senior year, I think a lot of people would have said that's a completely different player, because his improvement and what he added to his game and everything that he could do. And we didn't even get to see some of his best parts in this state tournament of his game in shot blocking. Like, he was phenomenal in that in the first and second rounds, but wasn't as prominent there in the third game. But, man, he is just – I can't wait to see what he does for Omaha, because I think he will have a very versatile role. And if he continues to stick with it and everything, who knows what that ceiling ends up looking like for him.
Yeah, and so shocking, he was my most outstanding player on the all-tournament team, joined by Trent O'Mark. Who just was really efficient, solid, playing next to him the whole tournament. Gavin Schutt, Chadron State commit, had 19, I believe it was, in the championship, kind of give his team a chance there. Then UTAN's Ryan McGuire and Freeman's Easton Buss there rounded out my all-tournament team. On to Class B. Oh boy, the semifinals. We talked about Skutt Norris collision course all season long, and the only way that was going to happen is if B still had a third place game, because they both went down.
Yeah. Thank God they don't. I'm just not a third place game gap person at all.
Although I would have liked to see a rematch anyway, but
you
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
been able
seen
to
it.
see it. Yeah.
I just am not.
I know.
Not a fan of those.
They could make it the Jamboree game. They won too.
Yeah.
So
no one that covers this stuff thought that this would be the B final. I do remember saying though last week that hey, Elkhorn North could make a run at this thing. They can hit some shots and stuff. Good enough. It's just one of those things where Nate Kelly just put the team basically on his back, and Scottsbluff won it because of him. I mean, obviously other players and teammates and stuff, and he was very good about deflecting, like all the praise and post-game press conference and that. But he was phenomenal, phenomenal tournament.
Yeah. So first they had to get through Norris to get to the final. 64-60, just Kelly, phenomenal. 27 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, efficient, 8 of 10 from the line, 9 of 17 from the field. And this Norris team, they defended him. He had a good game in Grand Island.
Yeah, they just played like 2 weeks ago.
And they have so many defenders that they can throw at him, like between Alex Mall, Evan Greenfield, Shane Holen, all really good defenders. And they all do it differently. And for Kelly to take that previous experience and then come out and just cook everybody, he was getting buckets the whole game. They were up. Scottsbluff led by 14 in the third quarter, and then Shane Holen led a rally in the fourth to get them back in. They got it tied, and then after that, Nate Kelly flew in from the weak side corner for an offensive rebound and reverse layup, put back to put them in the lead, got a stop, and then this time he did it with the passing. Drew like 3-4 defenders, got up in the air, passed to the corner, and Isai Sabala, who had not hit a shot the entire game, 0 for 6, I think, at that point, still had confidence, hit him in the corner, rose up and fired it in front of the bench and just buried it. And that was essentially the dagger for the game, and they held on. And key to that was Caleb Berta, 11 points, went 3 of 4 from 3, and Scottsbluff outshot Norris 6 of 13 to 2 of 14.
Berta hit some big shots.
And he continued that into the state final as well.
Like
and that's
the whole tournament, he knocked down some big shots.
And then the other side, you had Elkhorn North in overtime taking down Skutt, 59-57. And it was a total team effort. You had 17 from Kellen Murphy, who went 5 of 9 from 3, but 11 from Sutton Pietkowski, 11 from Nike Orgabold. Carter Peterson, 9 and 4, all in the fourth quarter and overtime. Hit a huge 3 in overtime. And every year I talk about this. Free throws. They will cost you a state championship if you can't hit them at a decent rate. Skutt, 10 of 23 from the free throw line. They went 0 for 4 in the last 10 seconds with a chance to tie the game.
Eesh.
2 different kids went up to the line, had a chance to tie it, and 0 for 2. So free throws, really costly. That ultimately cost Skutt a chance to win a 4th straight and ended their season. So
another thing too with Elkhorn North is like Elkhorn North is super used to playing Skutt and against those kids, and they know how they play. They're not intimidated by them, right? So that part of that maybe went into it a little bit too.
Yeah, and that set up a 3 versus 4 matchup in the final. And
Nate Kelly was fantastic, unbelievable in that game. I mean, not just the scoring, his defense
control.
He controlled the game on both sides, both ends. He basically locked down Kellen Murphy, knowing that that's the guy that can't get going.
Yeah. And he let him score in the first 2 games, I believe.
Yeah. And Nate, we talked, I think, halftime or throughout the game, Jacob, and I was so impressed. Nate, just his probing dribble, when he had the ball in his hands, eyes up, head up, and he made some tremendous passes. From the left elbow to the right corner through traffic for an open 3-point shooter. Found that guy. That's an amazing pass. He was so good. And, happy for Coach Gillen, to be honest, because a lot of people maybe doubted him as being their coach and all that stuff after Tony Siskey left. So happy for him to get it done.
Yeah, 22 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds for Kelly in the final. Riley Meininger, went off 23 points.
In the final three quarters.
Yeah, he was huge. Really took off down the stretch. And Berta, 3 of 5 from 3, 3 more.
The 3 of 4 and early opened things up.
Talking with Chris Cottrell and after watching them play Skutt in Crete and then seeing them in Grand Island, the key to Scottsbluff, their role players need to hit threes. Those guys need to knock down shots to allow. Otherwise, Kelly has to do way too much on his own. It's easier for teams to really collapse and make difficult for him. And they did that throughout this tournament. Went 9 of 24 from 3 as a team in the final. 4 from Meininger, 3 from Berta. Sabala hit 1, and then Kelly hit 1. So they had a lot of different guys. Oliver Carpenter in the first round hit 4 threes, I believe. So they had these guys that had struggled in some of their bigger games up to this point. They stepped up to stepped up when the team needed them and delivered to allow Scottsbluff to make it all the way and win a state championship, first since 2012. Yeah. They've had some really good players. They've gotten close over the years, but Kelly to finally go out on top to add to his legacy there, it's kind of a fitting end for him.
2012 team, I'll never forget it. It was Michael Haddon and beat Mike Gazelle from South City in that final.
That was right before I started falling. I think the next year was crazy. When I had started working with you.
Haddon was a great player. Yeah. He was a great high school basketball player. And I said something after the game, Nate Kelly, for me, the best of this last 15 years or whatever, most complete player. He's the most complete player that Scottsbluff has had, and they've had some good ones.
Then
really
you add
good
what he means to the football team.
Yeah.
He's been a track athlete at his time there too.
Great kid.
One of the all-time athletes, winners to come through that program. And obviously the most outstanding player on my all-tournament team, no shock there. But Riley Meininger as well made the team from Scottsbluff. Kellen Murphy representing Elkhorn North. Shane Holen scored 19 in both their games for Norris. Yeah. And then George Zeeble, double-double in both.
George is a walking double-double this year.
So,
yeah. D1 is Howells-Dodge. Again, another one of those teams that
only one seed that won a state title.
They were number 1 all year. We thought they'd be number 1 all year. And I will tell you, defensively, they play so hard. Yeah. Get a lot of deflections and all of that stuff. And really that zone is pretty fantastic. So.
Yeah. I mean, McCool Junction just had no answer for no way to crack it. Very similar to the game that started the day. Wasn't quite that extreme in terms of low point totals as we saw in the D1 game, or in the D2 game rather. But it was pretty close and fitting end for this Howells-Dodge team to do it. Offensive balance just across the board. They had a lot of different guys.
It's super balanced. It's not like a.
That's what they've been all season.
Yeah.
That's what they've been all season.
And Martin Meyer. 2 good players.
Then you had Luther, and then you had
Tom Chak.
Yeah, they have everybody.
They were getting 4 guys in double figures almost all season long. Right. So
and Dane Meyer, dude, flirted with multiple triple doubles in this tournament. He scored 2 points at a double double in the semifinal. It was 3 assists shy of a triple double in their first round, and had 6, 10, and 4 assists in the final as well. So. I put Meyer on my all tournament team alongside. I made Andre Martin the MVP just for all his contribution. I asked Coach Janot about him after the game as well, just what he meant to this run. And you need guys like that connect everything, that do all the little things. And he was phenomenal in that role. Jamison Weiss from McCool Junction made the list for me. Quinn Oberg from Elm Creek, and then Cole Wallace.
Wrecking Crew, Quinn Oberg.
Yeah. And then Cole Wallace from 3rd place, Lutheran High Northeast, had a great tournament as well.
Which, quick note for Elm Creek, anyone listening, Coach Cavany did retire. That was his final game, final tournament.
He's going to be a principal. Elementary principal.
Yeah, and so decided that he was ready to hang it up, but a long time.
It was 20-some years there.
I think it was 22 to be exact. I didn't want to say that and be wrong.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, he'll still have his, I believe, daughter Kennedy or Kendall. Yeah, will
Kendall
be.
Kavany.
She'll have another. Yeah, there's too many E's in that name. So she'll have one more year to go. So obviously, M. Creek will still have a couple of Kavany chances to be able to watch him.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
No.
Final notes?
Great. I mean, I wasn't there the whole time. Wasn't there as much as I'd like to be for the state tournament, but it was pretty fantastic. It was a great tournament. It's thrilling always. I I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do. So
yeah, everything you could have asked for. We had upsets. We had phenomenal individual performances. Some of the best players stepped up to the table and played their best basketball.
And it wasn't like, oh yeah, this team's good. It was kind of what we said all year long, specifically in Class A, is like there isn't like one or two teams. It's like a lot of teams that can win it. Like when when we were projecting, even after June, we started talking about like, oh man, like that. They can, they can really. This is going to be pretty wide open. And B, obviously, like those were kind of the 4 teams that made the semis all year, and that ended up being that. I mean, C1, the Ashland has always been there. Ogallala, that upset was fun. It just makes things fun. Maybe not fun for the teams that lose, but to follow it and cover it is great. It was fun.
Yeah, for any basketball fans out there that follow along our coverage all year, thank you. We will have our basketball award show for the boys and girls to kind of put a bow on this season. And unfortunately, we're having renovations done on the sports bar. We won't be able to hold it in person like we have in the past, but we will do a full digital show recognizing all the winners in all the different classes. So you can tune into that when we get the info out there. But that'll wrap up our basketball coverage for this year. I think this is year 6 of the pod.
Yeah.
Starting football in that COVID year, and then through this year. So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for everybody that's been listening. Got a lot of compliments the last couple of years from people, whether coaches, fans, parents listening to the show. So
it's good to see everyone at state. A lot of people at state tournament came up and said, "Hey, we really enjoy what you're doing. Keep it up." With this podcast. So
we appreciate all of you. We appreciate our whole team that contributed to our coverage. Appreciate
Thanks for Austin, producer Austin,
producer and.
I don't have a
sometimes
camera to put me
co-host.
on, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize.
Producer, reporter, Austin.
Sometimes fill-in co-host. It's whatever the pod needs.
Austin.
Small town ball. People forget. Probably need to start doing that again.
Probably should pick that one up.
Yeah, basketball got a little bit long because this show goes long sometimes. So it happens. It happens.
Like right now.
Yeah, right now we got to get out here because Mike has a place to be.
Bye, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Like and subscribe to Nebraska Preps Postgame.
A Herd at Sports Network production.